Play about to commence at the MCG. The elimination final. Loser of today out of the series. The winner to play the Sydney Swans next week. I almost said it as Sean White has first kick of the game. Drives it towards centre half forward, and a great mark taken by Warren Dean.
Dean plays on, he looks for Viney. Todd Viney runs to the boundary line, deep in the forward pocket. He picks it up and fires. What a brilliant shot! It's a goal! Great goal, Todd Viney.
Melbourne could not ask for a better start than that. And firstly, it was Sean White who put the ball forward. A lovely mark by Warren Dean. And then with Viney running down the wing, a magnificent goal by the boy from Sturt. Todd Viney, 21 years of age, only 13 games of VFL football, and on replay you see a great goal.
Yes, it was a great goal, and interesting to see Stephen McCann starting off at centre half back on Warren Dean. I think that just shows how well that Dean has been playing. Well, there's a kick by Bailey out of the centre. Over the back is McCann. A very experienced finals player, Stephen McCann, onto the left foot. He hooks it back. Punched away brilliantly, and this man is in sensational form in recent weeks. I refer to Sean White. A lot of people think he's an Irishman, but he's a boy from Glasgow, Scottish, and did live for a time in Ireland. There's the ball fisted away. Here they come though, Matthew Larkin, North Melbourne towards Jonas, but the ball is thumped away down there by Earl Spalding. Over the line, half-forward flank for the North Melbourne side. As we see the season's marks average, well, not a lot in that. Melbourne 65 a game to North Melbourne's 58.
Stretch takes it away. His teammate Bailey tapped it forward, but John Law, acting captain for North Melbourne, in the way. Hand passes immediately to Ackley. Ackley up towards half forward with a kick. Tapped on by Hepburn, picked up by Newport of Melbourne, in towards the centre, but McCann takes this one. And so Stephen McCann thought about hand passing to Ackley. Elects now to go long towards centre half forward. Hepburn's there. It's punched away by Hughes. Taken by Demetrio. One way, then the other. Off the side of the boot. Phil Cracker, the man!
Well, I think it's going to be a huge task today. This is the man as the key to the North Melbourne forward line, Phil Cracker. Look at him, always in front, eyes on the ball. Safe mark, but Dean Chiron has been given the big task on Phil Cracker, and I really believe he'll have his hands full today. This man is a tremendous footballer, Phil Cracker. A one-grab player. Will miss his brother though, Bob. Jimmy being out of the side.
So will the rest of the players.
I'll say, but it's pretty even because Brian Wilson, who's had a great season for Melbourne, is out also. By the way, Sean Smith has replaced Jimmy Cracker in the North Melbourne side. Phil Cracker right in front, fires, and it's a goal.
So Phil Cracker kicks his first goal, scores a level, a 1 goal apiece. Todd Viney kicking the goal for Melbourne. Phil Cracker kicking that one there as we watch on replay. Andrew Demetrio took a little bit too long to get rid of it, but off the side of the boot it went, and getting away from Chiron was Phil Cracker, who was recruited from Claremont and 27 years of age. Phil Cracker has been an excellent player for North Melbourne, along with his brother Jim, who had to drop out of the selected side with a bad ankle injury.
They've got Peter Jonas down alongside Phil Cracker. The two-man forward attack down near the goal square area. One a slow player in Jonas and one a very quick player in Cracker. Now, John Kennedy won't like that. A free kick given away for encroaching into the centre square. That's Stynes down towards half forward. There's Crocker. Couldn't take the mark. Ackley, a very experienced player, David Ackley, out to McCann, playing well early. Further afield it comes to Spargo, and Paul Spargo just gets his boot to the ball, and eventually it rolls over the line on the true centre wing position. Scores dead set level, 1 goal apiece.
Handballs average, as we see John Kennedy and John Dugdale alongside him. Mossop gets the tap down, taken by Clarkson, hooked over the shoulder. Over the boundary line it goes, half forward flank for North Melbourne. 1 goal apiece, 4.5 minutes into the first quarter here at the MCG. Season's hit out at average. Well, John Mossop didn't do so well early in the season, but he has been doing exceptionally well since. Sean White with the tap, it's picked up by Larkin, puts it across the ground. Jonas used his body beautifully, can he tap it on? Traps it forward beautifully, looks for Phil Cracker out wide. Phil Cracker runs onto the left foot, hand pass over the top, back to Jonas. Out it goes to Demetrio. Hook towards goal from Demetrio. Hepburn waiting there, cannot take the mark. Coming away from defence for Melbourne and putting the ball forward is Coop. Up towards half forward, but that's Crocker who takes it for North Melbourne. Darren Crocker favours the drop punt, puts it towards the forward area. Phil Cracker up high, Peter German's there, onto the left foot it goes, across the face of goal. Actually hit the post, I think, at 1 point.
Well, Peter German is a very, very dangerous player. One of those centre line players who can sneak down towards the goals and often kicks 3 or 4 goals in a game. Now, Danny Hughes is playing today on Peter Jonas. Not a lot of pace between those two. There's a good mark to Hepburn. Over to Larkin. Larkin further afield to Clarkson. Oh, gee, he can't do a thing wrong at the moment. That man there in Sean White, he got it further afield to Yates. Fisted away. Doing well down there, Stephen McCann, and puts it over the line. But, geez, an impressive player, Sean White.
Certainly is, and a real goer. John Mossop, 10.7. Stephen O'Dwyer out with suspension at the moment. Is well, the man will be missed by Melbourne as a free kick is being paid and will come back. And Jason Love coming in off the interchange bench and starting on the half-forward flank as Bret Lovett as his opponent. Sean White is picking up the Rovers. Now, that's an unusual placing of Sean White on the Rovers, Pete.
Well, in some ways it's a good move because he has got enormous pace and he'll certainly have the marking ability over them. Oh, look at that. Talking about the marking ability, he is a ripper player, this kid. He'll be in the Victorian side next year, I'd say for certain. Onto the left foot. A wobbly-looking kick.
The boy from Ireland, 23 years of age, Sean White, and he really is carrying all behind.
He's actually from Scotland. He corrected that in the paper during the week. Everyone thinks he's from Ireland, but he's born and bred in Scotland, as we see Spargo towards the centre wing. Graham Yates takes it away. He's had an excellent season too. He goes wide looking for Healy, and it's a good mark to Healy in front of Chandler. And Greg Healy, the little tenacious rover, lines up and kicks long. Can they take a mark? The ball is fisted away by Harris. Todd Viney goes in after it. Over the back, a chance for Johnny Law. A hand pass to Demetrio. He gets in a very quick hand pass. Kicked further afield by Jason Love. Demetrio goes in again and takes it to the line. Good play, Eddie Demetrio.
Shot of the crowd. And a big crowd here today, approximately 75,000 in my opinion. John Law from behind, punches the ball towards the boundary. Darren Steele comes across. Warren Dean takes possession, but not before it had gone over the boundary. Another throw-in to take place. Last year we saw North Melbourne finish 7th, Melbourne finishing 11th. Stynes, Mossop. Stynes got the tap. Stretch couldn't take possession. Andrew Demetrio was there. Couldn't pick the ball up. Over the boundary line once again, a throw-in to take place.
Well, they've had a few minutes now to get over the nerves, the Melbourne players, and I'm sure that they'd have just a touch more nerves than what North Melbourne would have. A lot of those North players have played in a few finals. There's Mossop, take it out of the ruck towards centre wing where the mark has been taken by Lovett. Lovett played an excellent game in the last round when they defeated Footscray at Footscray. The ball's fisted away. Little Ricky Jackson was there. Also John Law. They're going in hard after it. And the umpire will come in. Umpire Ian Clayton, and bounce it as Matthew Larkin. Another key player in today's match is Matthew Larkin, number 9 for North Melbourne.
Umpires Ian Clayton, Ian Robinson. Umpire Robinson, by far the most experienced of the umpires around at the moment, was left that time, and Melbourne go forward. Oh, it must be a push in the back to Graham Yates. Chance of a goal coming up as Yates will kick from about 45 metres out. On replay, we see Crocker coming straight over the top of Yates. So Graham Yates, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Graham Yates and Bret Bailey fought out the best and fairest for Melbourne this year.
They've both had very good seasons, Bob.
Graham Yates, nice looking kick off the boot. He's offline and only 1 point the result. 1-1. Both sides on the same score. Darren Harris kicks the ball to himself. Runs his full distance. Puts it right up towards centre wing. And the mark taken out there by Hepburn.
He's good overhead, Bob.
And he's an excellent kick. Nice kick from Hepburn up towards half forward. Over the back of the pack it comes. Jonas first on the scene. A quick hand pass. Looks out there for German. Carries the ball over the boundary line. Before he could get the hand pass in there, it was picked up by Jason Love, but the boundary line came up first. Last time they met, Alistair Clarkson put the ball through for full points to win for North Melbourne after the siren by 2 points. Chandler puts the ball on. Hand pass forward as we see Demetrio has it taken away by Sharon. Sharon up towards centre wing, and we find Warren Dean taking the mark.
Warren Dean, I think the Eagles might have made a deal with him, letting him get out of their class. There's a beautiful pass from Newport to Viney. Now Yates is making the lead. Viney's got to go back, and the short pass is a ripper too. He finds Ricky Jackson.
Jonas in trouble behind play, Pete. He's hobbling off the ground.
Well, that's bad news. Oh, gee, doesn't look too good either. Donald McDonald will come on. That's bad luck for North Melbourne. There's Ricky Jackson from the 50-metre line. Sets it up for someone to take a big mark. And there it is, Robbie Flower, the idol of the Melbourne members stand. Takes a ripper mark over the top of the pack. Let's look at it in replay. Just superior judgment, Robert Flower. And should kick this one from right in front. Bang! And there it is, a goal to the Demons.
And the idol of the Melbourne crowd, Robert Flower, and deservedly so. Robert Flower has played 271 games of football for Melbourne, and today his first final game at the age of 32. Came through from Melbourne fourths, right through the club, and has been an example of loyalty right throughout. Centre bounce. No clear tap from the centre, and a free kick goes the way of John Mossop because Stynes came in and shepherded that player. Hand passes across to Spargo. He puts it on to John Law. Law puts a shocking kick forward. Larkin couldn't pick it up. Kicked off the ground by Healy. Healy, I think, has Chandler as his minder throughout the day. John Law forces the ball forward. Larkin's there as well. Law gets it up to Chandler. Hooked over the shoulder. Melbourne standing firm, and a lovely mark taken down there by Stephen Newport.
Steve Newport last year looked like being a really good player and then had a very ordinary patch of football, but now he's back in tip-top form. There's McCann. Beautifully done by Stephen McCann in defence. Taken away by Chandler towards half-forward. Hepburn. Well done, Spalding. Good use of the body. Earl Spalding caught with it, though. Grabbed by Jason Love. A hand pass to Demetrio. A further hand pass. They're under enormous pressure, North Melbourne, at the moment. Oh, Demetrio went in hard and caught very, very high. And umpire Ian Clayton right on top of that one. Saw that and paid it to Andy Demetrio. Centre of the ground, a short pass. The lead has been made. There were two North Melbourne players. Hepburn and McDonald got in each other's way. Sean White crashes his way through the pack. Stephen Stretch, a hand pass out wide to Dean Sharon. Oh, that's beautiful team play by Melbourne as it's love it. Bringing it down to half-foot, an easy mark dropped by Darren Harris. It's still in play. Campbell to Williams. David Williams into the open goal, and bang, he's put it through.
David Williams taking full advantage of a lovely piece of football by Tony Campbell. And Melbourne running hot at the moment, but it was a bad miss by David Harris. You saw on replay there as Darren Harris missed that one. It was a sitter, actually, and now on replay we see Williams with plenty of time puts the ball right through the centre.
Well, 12 points the difference. A drop mark can be very costly in a final, as it proved then when Darren Harris dropped the sitter. But Melbourne are looking good and determined. Oh, well done. Beautiful football, Stephen McCann, and that's the way to play it at the MCG. A 60-metre kick. McDonald punched away by Hughes. Grabbed by Larkin. A beautiful pass by Larkin. Pinpoint accuracy, and the mark has been taken by Alistair Clarkson right down there in front of goal. Look at that for a pass. Beautiful. Pinpoint accuracy, as I said. Now, Clarkson, only 8 VFL games from directly in front. Stabs at goal. It's close. I think it's just in. No. Just offline. A bad miss. And young Clarkson was the hero a few weeks ago when he actually kicked that goal after the siren, which defeated Melbourne on this very ground.
John Kennedy, corner of the screen, having a close look at the situation. Wouldn't be too pleased. The stretch was up high, couldn't take the mark. Mossop tried to force the ball forward. Was tackled too high, according to umpire Robinson. How do you tackle John Mossop too high?
Looked a strange one to me, Bob. I couldn't see it, but he must have seen something. There's the kick. Up towards the forward line. Danny Hughes, the big fist away. And Melbourne looking good in defence, good and strong and tough and determined. They force it to the line and over the line and out of bounds, deep in that forward pocket. 3 goals, 1. Melbourne lead North Melbourne 1 goal, 2 at the 15.5-minute mark, first quarter.
From the throw-in, McDonald up high, puts it down wide, Steele's there, snaps towards goal. That's a great goal by Darren Steele. Excellent play.
Well, that was, as you called it, Bob, a very, very good goal, and he's a very good player too. Darren Steele, a big fist away. Now Steele gets a nice bounce. Picks it up, beg your pardon.
Steele going everywhere with Jackson.
Yeah, well, good
and
thinking.
Chandler going everywhere with Healy.
Well, they're manning up, and that's good to see in football. The players are manning, picking their opponents up and not giving them easy kicks like we saw yesterday out of VFL Park. Well, centre of the ground, there's McCann, who's doing well at centre-half back. And Dean's had a couple of kicks, but, well, I think McCann's playing quite well. Number 16, I'm surprised he lined up at centre-half back. Normally you would think he'd be either full forward or full back. But he's a very versatile player, Stephen McCann. It's right in the centre of the ground. There was about 18 players around that bounce down. Now, the umpire's playing Ian Robinson.
Not a doubt about that one.
Yeah, he was grabbed when he didn't have it. That was German, wide, Spalding and Cracker. Phil Cracker, of course. That's his opponent, though. Dean Sharon crashing his way through the centre of the ground. Darren Harris, this time he doesn't drop the ball. And he is one of the biggest kicks in the league. And on that occasion, it's an absolute shocker. Chandler, young fella, Jeff Chandler, heads for the line. And I think he was quite happy to see that one go over the line. North Melbourne's 1987 record, 1-13, lost 8, tied 1. And one thing about North under John Kennedy, the opposition never get an easy game. They're never out of the contest.
Well, that is the same thing applies to Melbourne of recent times.
Yes, I think I agree with that too, Bob, as the ball is forced over the line, but it's a free kick to Melbourne on centre wing.
So Doug Coote coming into the 18, was selected on the interchange bench, but with Brian Wilson dropping out, he came in off the hands of the pack. Flowers there for Melbourne. Under pressure, taps the ball beautifully across, and the kick goes across the face of goal and through for 1 point. Ricky Jackson putting that through for 1 point. Formerly of Richmond, 20 years of age. Played 13 games of football. Not one of the Melbourne side prior to today has taken part in a VFL finals game. Tackled too high against Todd Viney. Todd Viney may well have played in the finals with Sturt. Stretch puts the ball forward, through for 1 point, kick by Stephen Stretch. I do know that Warren Dean played in finals for Subiaco last year.
Premiership side.
But VFL finals with Brian Wilson having played 1, he dropped out of the selected side, so not a Melbourne player has played, but they haven't played for 23 years in the finals. Playing well at the moment, though, the Demons, as Newport puts the ball forward. And a, well, good effort to take the mark by Ross Smith. Just couldn't quite finish it off over the boundary line and a throw-in to take place.
Well, there's Melbourne's 1987 record, 1-12 and lost 10. Almost even Stevens, but they earned their place. And they beat that great Hawthorn side during the year as well, which was a good effort. There's Greg Healy to Jim Stynes to Dean. Spargo was there, but he misses it and is grabbed by Dean. But in the meantime, it was a free kick against Melbourne to Paul Spargo. He was grabbed when he didn't have the ball, said umpire Ian Robinson. Very experienced umpire and a top umpire, Ian Robinson, well over 300 VFL games. Spargo, stretched from behind. It's a North Melbourne mark to Crocker. It must go to the man in front.
Can't try and mark from behind, Pete.
No, particularly against a guy of Crocker's ability, is a very good overhead mark. Darren Crocker towards half forward. Phil Cracker in the pack. I think they need some marking power up forward. Earl Spalding takes it away.
To stay down as well.
That's right. They all flew with each other as we see McCann. Oh, it's taken away by Viney though, and Viney sprints into goal. Is it another one? No, he's missed a sitter. So a bad miss to Todd Viney.
And I think the great goal within 1 minute of the start of play, but that wasn't a good shot at all. 20 minutes have gone in this first term. It's Melbourne 3-4-22, North Melbourne 2-2-14. Nice kick in from full back. Coop first on the scene. Spargo there as well. Spargo wins out. The left foot goes up towards half forward. Sean White. What a dasher this player is proving. The hand pass misses stretch. Ricky Jackson comes in. Can't quite take the ball away. The hand pass came out. Clarkson intercepts, puts the hand pass out wide. It's Ricky Jackson against 4. Lenny coming into Lynn supporters, Dean, and a bounce will take place.
Yes, and good umpiring that by Ian Clayton. The deliberated on that being no free kick, and well done. 8 points the difference. Warren Dean has had an excellent season. Played a great game against Footscray at the Footscray ground in the last home and away round to help Melbourne get in. Oh, there's a high tackle on Jackson by Darren Harris. Admittedly, it'd be pretty hard to tackle little Ricky around the waist, but oh, that was very high by Harris.
A very crude tackle.
It certainly was. As we see, Jackson will kick from about 48 metres, I would think, when he actually lets fly with this kick at goal. Won't make the distance. Now, can someone take a mark for Melbourne? Let's see, as it's right up there with Chandler. A long hand pass finds Darren Steele. Oh, slow to get rid of it, but just gets his kick in. Hepburn. Oh, gee, has it fisted away when he almost had it. Crocker, very talented player, Crocker, smothered beautifully by Spalding. And to the delight of the Melbourne members stand, Spalding gets a huge ovation.
Well, he might. Earl Spalding, beautiful smother. Mossop gets the ball down, taps it on again. Crocker coming through. So too Chandler, but it runs over the line before Jason Love could pick the ball up. So a throw-in to take place. Centre wing, members' side of the ground. North Melbourne's elimination final record. Stynes gets the big tap, puts it up towards half forward. Dean and McCann both trying to trap the ball, and umpire Clayton comes in to indicate that he'll bounce it. Bounce to take place. Half forward flank for Melbourne, who lead by 8 points at the present moment. Mossop wins the tap. The hand pass comes from Healy, put forward by Yates, tapped over the back by Bailey. Ross Smith first there, punches it forward. It goes over the boundary line. A throw-in to take place about 45 metres out from goal.
Well, there's John Northey, a man who's done a magnificent job this year with Melbourne, and quite achiever, John Northey. Highly respected. Now, beautiful hand pass. Oh, free kick to Healy. Oh, they paid the advantage to Campbell. Campbell kicks. Oh, hit the post. Actually, Bob, even though the advantage was paid, that didn't really end up an advantage because Healy would have had a set shot for goal.
Except that once you've called the advantage, and the umpire has got to go on with it.
I agree, but actually it works against you sometimes, doesn't it?
Occasionally it does. It's driven back into play, and Mossop takes a fine mark. Kick from Ross Smith. Mossop floats the ball towards centre wing, looking for Hepburn, traps the ball well. A hand pass across to Love. Love's kick smothered off the boot. Graham Yates stumps the ball back. It's taken by Healy. His kick towards half forward. No mark taken. McCann coming forward with Ricky Jackson of Melbourne. Over the line it goes, and a throw-in to take place. Half forward flank for Melbourne, who lead 23-14, 24 minutes into the first term. Mossop and Stynes. Stynes gets the tap. Tapped down that time by Steele. Picked up by Yates. Hooked back towards half forward, and Healy takes the mark. Hand passes to Bailey from 50 metres out. Bailey's kick long and wide, and just goes out of bounds on the full.
Well, some good pressure tactics then on Bailey. Put him under enormous pressure. There's Ackerley. Bringing it wide. Mossop has got the height advantage. Can't take the mark. Oh, kept in play. No, said the boundary umpire. Valiant attempt that by Darren Steele. There he is on screen, Darren. Played one sensational game. Well, plenty of good games, but one up in Sydney against the Sydney Swans when he had about 40-odd possessions, Darren Steele. Everyone voted him best on the ground that day. There he is, trying to get his boot the ball. Hand passes from Stynes to Jackson. Oh, there's a daisy cutter. Oh, what good play that was by Chandler. Somehow got his fist to it and fisted it over the line.
As I said earlier, Chandler going everywhere with Greg Healy, and Steele going on and off the ball with Ricky Jackson. Coop couldn't get the ball forward. The hand pass comes over the top. It's taken by Darren Harris. A long kick up towards centre wing and almost a good mark to Jason Lovey. God, comes out of it beautifully. The hand pass from McDonald taken by Demetrio. Gets through the tackle, steadies, goes across looking for Phil Cracker and onto the chest of Phil Cracker. Cracker will kick from about 45 metres out. So Phil Cracker virtually directly in front, 45 metres out from goal. The replay showing a beautiful pass, Pete.
Well, a great lead and a top pass. Now, Cracker is a pretty accurate kick normally. There's the drop punt. Oh, that is a lovely kick. That's a goal. That's his second.
2 goals to Phil Cracker, and it's 3 points the margin between the sides. 3-2 to 3-5. On replay, we see Andrew Demetrio take possession of the ball, get around Spalding, steady, puts the pass out in front of Phil Cracker, and right onto the chest of Cracker it went. No mistake about that. Now we see the shot from behind through for full points.
Well, 3 points the difference, and now we're seeing a real contest. That was Hepburn. Still in towards the centre of the ground. Danny Hughes, what's he doing right up there as he gets it across to Coop. Coop with a beautiful pass. Gee, that's beautiful use of the football.
Mossop's gone off the ball. Stynes has gone with Mossop. So Danny Hughes will stay and go into the ruck against Donald McDonald.
Well, this is a real man-on-man stuff today. Both coaches telling their men to just go wherever their opposite number goes. This is Warren Dean, who received that beautiful pass from Coop.
Pretty good kick of the football too,
or
Pete.
A long kick. There's the kick by Dean. Oh, it's offline though. It's a bad miss again.
Well, I'll apologise to Melbourne. You shouldn't wrap them before they kick it.
No, I said something about Darren Harris being one of the longest kicks in the league just a moment ago, and he kicked it 25 metres. But I think the Eagles might have made a mistake with Warren Dean. I think they should have had him in their squad for sure during this year. There is Newport. Now, is it a free kick? Yes, it is, for a trip. So Steve Newport, halfway between half-forward flank and centre wing. 4 points the difference in favour of the Demons. This could be a mark. No. Play on. Bailey, a real goer. Bret Bailey hooks it to the pocket, but the ever-reliable Ross Smith ducks back to take an easy chest mark.
Short pass comes out wide. Darren Crocker doesn't muck around at all. Another short pass, and this time he finds Chandler. So it's Jeff Chandler. Puts the ball out wide towards the wing. Oh, Spalding, a great effort, and it has been paid by umpire Robinson. So Earl Spalding will take the mark. Hand passes immediately, and it's taken by Danny Hughes, who turns around and drives the ball long towards half forward. Flower misses a sitter. Law picks the ball up, goes short in towards the centre. Hughes coming through again. Good play by Hughes, missed by McDonald. Flower hand passes across. Bailey in trouble, throws the ball away, and is penalised accordingly.
It was a great tackle, that one. And we can see the man on screen, McDonald, towards half-forward. Hepburn and Spalding having a great contest. Nearly a mark to Hepburn, but off they go. Oh, good play by Hughes to Dean Sharon. And as he kicks at goal, the siren sounds to end the first quarter here. A very evenly contested quarter with Melbourne leading 3 goals 6-24 to North Melbourne, 3 goals 2.
Second quarter about to commence at the MCG. 4 points the margin in favour of the Melbourne Football Club. There's Danny Hughes, who is rucking for Melbourne. Mossop, when he goes to full forward, has Jim Stynes going everywhere with him. So Danny Hughes comes in, but Danny Hughes has played a lot of football in the ruck for Melbourne, Pete.
I reckon it's his best position, actually, Bob.
So it's Danny Hughes against Donald McDonald. No clear tap from the centre. Bailey picks the ball up, hooks it towards half forward. Ross Smith got a bad bounce. Ackley came through, showed a lot of courage to try and get in there and tap the ball out. But David Ackley had no chance. Williams in there on top.
I noticed David was trying, he let the umpire know he was trying desperately to punch it out. He was frightened the umpire might pay holding the ball.
Well, that is the new interpretation these days. Hughes wins the tap. Stephen McCann first there. Robert Flower comes in, can't take possession. Darren Harris, a hand pass over the top. It's taken away by German. Up towards centre wing it goes, and it's picked up by Bret Lovett of Melbourne.
Lovett, half forward flank, brings it to the pocket. Harris flies, couldn't take it. Crocker was there, and McDonald also was a scrambly passage of play. Warren Dean and McCann, and Johnny Law comes crashing through, and well, we often see that of John Law, but there's Warren Dean. A big task for him today. He's only lightly framed, and playing a centre forward on Steve McCann. He's had a good year, Warren Dean. The big fist away is by McDonald, and eventually it's forced over the line once again. Paul Spargo on screen and Doug Coop. And it's on half-forward flank for Melbourne. 3-6 plays 3-2. 4 points the difference. Hughes and McDonald. Oh, there's a stretch, threw the ball away, races in the goal, and is offline. And they've missed a few sitters, Melbourne.
They've had some golden opportunities. Look at the score. 10 scoring shots to 5.
Well, it's at there's Stephen Stretch, the South Australian. Danny Hughes, another South Australian. And great value, those two players for Melbourne. Harris, one of the longest kicks playing the game. Beautiful drop punt out to the half-back line. Hughes went for the punch. Well, McDonald got in the way of his teammate there. Allows Graham Yates to come in with a hand pass to Stretch. And Stephen Stretch from centre wing, a high floater towards the half-forward line. McCann tries to fist it away. But here comes David Williams and kicks from 40 metres. A beautiful drop punt for a goal.
Lovely goal by David Williams, his second, and Melbourne lead by 11 points, 31-20.
Well, as we look in replay, Williams read that beautifully off the pack, and it really was a good kick by David Williams for his second. During this year, he's missed many opportunities, Williams. Not the most reliable kick for goals, particularly from set shots, but he's a very quick leader for the ball and is not a bad full forward.
Centre bounce is tapped down by McDonald. Coming through that time and taking possession as Spargo hooks the ball towards half forward. Spalding almost took a miraculous mark. Love picks the ball up, puts it down towards the forward area, and a good effort by Sean White again. Taps it wide. He's playing a magnificent game down there on the back line, but Matthew Larkin equal to the task. Offloaded White. It was a fantastic effort by Sean White.
Oh, he's a tremendous player, this kid. Born and bred in Glasgow in Scotland, and then lived in Ireland, and well, he is, I predict he'll be a Victorian player for sure next year on that half-back line. Now, Lovett ducks back to take the mark. He's got the running player in Coop to back him up, to Danny Hughes, who loves playing on the ball, Danny Hughes. That'll be 15 metres against Crocker. A professional free kick that by Crocker. There's Hughes with a long kick towards half-forward. Williams, a little shove out. Play on, said the umpire, as Yates has got it. Oh, grabbed when he didn't have it. And Graham Yates will
I would have played it the other way.
Well, it was probably a ticky-touch, well, not ticky-touch, but a fine line between whether Yates had the ball or whether he didn't. I'd like to see that again, that one. If we can see Graham Yates at the 50-metre line. He actually did have the ball. Whether the question was, did he throw it away and then was grabbed? Now, there's the pass to Bailey. Bailey will have to kick from approximately 50 metres. Bret Bailey, a real honest goer for the Melbourne side. At the moment, Melbourne lead by 11 points. This would be a handy one. There's the drop punt. It's a nice looking kick. It comes back and it's a goal.
Well, Melbourne doing extremely well at the moment. They're taking the game up to and away from North Melbourne. There's Danny Hughes on replay. Puts the ball long. Out wide it goes, over the back of the pack. Coming through was Robert Flower. It's picked up by Yates. Now, Yates, for mine, didn't hand pass that forward and should have been paid against Yates. .17 points the margin as Donald McDonald gets the tap, but it's put forward there by Healy. Coming through was Ackley. Ackley pushed in the back. Ball play on. Flower comes out with the ball. tackle, got the hand pass into Hughes, who floats it up towards the forward area. Melbourne in the van, it's a mark for mine. And it was a good mark taken down there by Tony Campbell. Campbell did extremely well to take that mark. On replay, judge it to perfection. And the boy from Camberwell Grammar has the opportunity of putting Melbourne 23 points in front. The kick from Campbell is just that, 23 points to lead.
Well, what a handy lead that is at this stage of the game, but don't write off North Melbourne. We've seen North many times over the last 3 or 4 years as we see Campbell, a nice mark playing in front. Yes, a definite mark, and the umpire Ian Clayton made the right decision. Campbell being picked up by Harris, but the Melbourne supporters are really roaring already, but I would not be roaring too early. North have got a great habit of fighting back.
I think North made a big mistake taking Mossop off the ball.
Yes, I agree with you, Bob, as we see it at half forward. You watch, they'll come back. They always do, North Melbourne, as we see a hurry kick by Love towards Hepburn, but they need a little bit more striking power up forward. They've now got McDonald up at full forward. Phil Cracker's still up there in the pocket. John Northey never shows a lot of emotion, John, but a very good thinking coach, John Northey. There's Stynes doing the ruck work against Mossabo. Here they come again. Ricky Jackson to Spalding. Spalding burst out of the centre. A wobbly kick though. It's marked by Warren Dean. Dean onto the left foot, fires a goal. What a ripper goal that was.
Lovely goal by Warren Dean. Really used the football beautifully. 29 points to lead to the Demons as Spalding burst down the ground. Ricky Jackson gives the hand pass across to Spalding on replay. We see the kick come out in front of Dean. He plays on immediately and the left foot kick. And we spoke earlier what a great disposal expert he is, and that was no exception.
I don't like the lineup of the North Melbourne side, Bob. I don't like McCann at centre back. I don't think that's his position, and well, I think they might make a few moves shortly. But Melbourne are playing well. There's Dean, taken away by Larkin, who hasn't had a lot to do with the game so far. Demetrio. Now, where are their forwards? Their forward line is not existent at the moment, North Melbourne. Hughes, uncontested, takes that mark. He kicks it out wide to Bailey, and here come the Demons again. Bret Bailey onto the left foot, brings it to half forward. Williams from behind, couldn't take the mark. Chandler is there, and Greg Healy. Well done, young Chandler. They dive in after it. Bailey's there on the base of the pack. Sean Smith's there also, number 32, took Jimmy Cracker's place. Now it's Williams, a hurried kick out looking for Stynes. And he, the big Irishman's got it, caught, nearly holding the ball, gets his boot to it. McCann ducks back, and that's a good contest going on at centre-half back, McCann and Dean. Now they've got the loose man in Larkin. This is when North are dangerous, when Larkin gets control. Now he kicks it low towards half forward. Over the back is Phil Cracker. Here's the danger man. Beautiful pass by Cracker. Every time he gets it, he does something constructive, Bob.
He certainly does, and he might not have brother Jim out there, but watch again on replay. And there's a nice little right foot pass straight onto the chest of Donald McDonald, who will be kicking from 40 metres out. Very deliberate look from Donald McDonald. 105 VFL games, 25 years of age, recruited from St Brendan's. So the Catholic boy lining them up.
You love the Catholics, don't you?
Donald McDonald puts the ball towards goal. Across the face it goes, and it's through for only 1 point.
Yeah, bad kick by Donald McDonald, but he is not the greatest kick for goal. But North are only 4 goals, 4 behind. And as I said earlier, I've seen too many games of North Melbourne playing to write them off. They are a real team of goers. There's Larkin, they need him firing. Sean White. Oh, that is a brilliant mark by Sean White. And he hurt Paul Spargo then. But they're not contesting enough up there on the forward line, North Melbourne. They're letting Melbourne do it far too easily. There's the pass out wide, finding Dean, who covers an enormous amount of territory. Dean, Chandler takes front position, fisted away, but it goes straight there to Jackson. Jackson, a short pass. Oh, some courage shown then, but Melbourne still with a chance. Viney, Hepburn, Ackley, Ackley gets it out to Johnny Law. A beautiful hand pass to Steele to Demetrio. Back it comes to Steele, and that was terrific football. Not a good kick by Steele because the lead had been made by Spargo, and it missed him by a mile. Warren Dean, great skills. Gets dragged by the leg. The umpire lets that go. Oh, the Melbourne members don't like that. Chandler towards half forward, and eventually it's forced over the line. But he was linked then, I think, Bob.
I think he was beat. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And so do those fans. They also think so.
Well, we saw 12 premierships, but they haven't had one since 1964.
McCann thumps the ball back. Taken by White. Dispossessed. Sean Smith picks the ball up. Can't get the ball clear. Doug Coote, was he pushing the back? Yes, according to umpire Robinson. And this time the Melbourne umpires, he's allowed to play on. Bad defensive work by Hepburn. And so Ackley's there. Takes the ball away from Flower. Hooks it over the shoulder. McCann gets the favourable bounce. Hand passes wide to Steele. Dummies beautifully. Straightens up and drives towards the half-forward line. Love couldn't take the mark. Bret Lovett's there with him. No one can get full possession. Tackle too high. Should easily have been a North Melbourne free kick for mine, Pete.
Ian Robinson completely out of position for that one, Bob, and that's why he missed it. He was on the wrong side of the pack, and, well, you can't be in the right position all day, so it was a pure case of not seeing that one. As we see Hepburn down to the ground. Oh, Spargo has it smothered. Good play by Bailey. Beautiful football across the stretch, and Stephen Stretch races down the ground. He kicks long. Was he flattened after he kicked it? No, said the umpire. It's fisted to the ground. Good defensive play by North Melbourne as the hand pass comes out to Steele. That was good play by Ross Smith. Darren Steele, a pass. Oh, it sets up his teammate there. Oh, gee, it was a bad pass. Newport on the left foot. A high one. Johnny Mossop floats back. And also in there is Campbell for Melbourne, grabbed by Mossop, but he hooks it back and straight in the hands of the waiting Greg Healy.
So Healy will be kicking from 55 metres out. The Melbourne vice-captain is on replay. We see Mossop hook the ball straight into the arms of Healy. The short pass came across to Stynes. A bit of looseness. 21 to 49. 28 points the margin in favour of Melbourne. And the last time we saw Melbourne play Pete, Jim Stynes kicked about 4 great goals.
And they were top goals. He kicked them from everywhere. Jimmy Stynes, the big Irishman.
So Stynes goes towards goal, but he's hooked it, and 1 point the result.
Yes, and Melbourne really could be further in front. The number of shots they've had, 15 to 6. So they're very, very dominant at the moment. They're 31 points in front. Darren Harris is a beautiful kick of a football to McCann, who I must admit is
You
playing.
are a skilled teacher, aren't you?
What's that got to do with it?
21 from 50.
Sorry, what did I say? 31, did I? Well, it's 29, as we see the kick from McCann, who is playing well, but so is Dean. Now, did he play on? I think he did, Sean Smith. And, well, he gets his boot the ball. Oh, gee, they're fumbling North Melbourne. They are not playing good football at the moment. They're playing very poor football. As we see Greg Healy, lovely pass, finds Viney. Viney from centre winger, absolute shocker, and kicks it straight out of bounds. Half-forward flank for Melbourne. Clarkson is warming up on the boundary line for North. I wonder who's going to come off. It's on that half-forward line, 29 points the difference. And we see Mossop straight to Law, but they're under enormous pressure, North Melbourne. They need someone to really start firing up forward. There's McDonald to Demetrio, a good tackle, but German's there. He's caught, gets his boot to it, but here come the demons. Doug Coote caught, holding the ball. Great tackle. That was a top tackle for North Melbourne. Now, who was that? It was John Law. Well, that's not surprising, Bob.
No. The boy from Strathbogie. Great courage. Sharon got the tap out wide. North Melbourne in the van. As we see it, hand pass forward from Crocker. Phil Cracker, a long hand pass over the top to Hepburn. Right through the centre, up into the stand it goes. A great goal.
Well, once again, well, actually, it was not a good tackle that by Sean White on Phil Cracker. I thought he had him cornered. You watch this as we see Crocker with the long hand pass. Now, what's this? He just broke that tackle magnificently, Phil Cracker, and look at that. They've kicked 4 of the North Melbourne's goals. In fact, they've only kicked 4, and Phil Cracker's had a hand in the 4.
Not a doubt about that. Mark Hepburn. Danny Hughes and Mark Hepburn. Hepburn now at full forward. Donald McDonald out at centre half forward. Looked like young Chandler on the interchange bench. 27 to 50. 23 points the margin. Larkin picks the ball up, dribbles it forward. An awkward bounce, well taken by Sharon, who drives it up towards the half-forward line. McCann comes out, can't take the mark. It's picked up by Mossop. Hand passed out wide. Ackley comes through. Gets boot to ball, across the ground. And a lovely effort to take the mark by Newport. Thumped on that time by Clarkson. It's now Coop and Spargo. Into the back of Coop goes Spargo. And the free kick will be taken by the former North Melbourne and Swans player in Doug Coop, who now represents the Melbourne Football Club. Coop goes short. Not a well-placed kick, but great courage shown by Bret Lovett to take the mark.
I'll say it was. He could have really been unloaded there as he kicks to half forward. Oh, big fly was from behind, but there's little Ricky Jackson. Oh, brilliant play by the little fella. Into the open goal he goes. What a great goal that was. Well, there he is, striding back to the centre. 8-8 plays 4-3. 4 goals, 5 the difference, but that was a terrific goal as we see Lovett kick it down. Watch this one as they all fly. Again, too many North players flying. Jackson with great pace. Dummies the hand pass, then fires at goal. Great goal.
Excellent goal by Ricky Jackson. 27 to 56 in favour of Melbourne. Recruited by the Demons from the Richmond Football Club. Ricky Jackson, 20 years of age. Stynes. Ricky Spargo. Desperate play by both sides, causing a little bit of confusion out there, and not real good-looking football, but it's desperate football at the moment. Almost in the centre circle again. Mossop taken by Love, but straight to Melbourne once again. Lovett plays on. Called play on by the umpire, and Lovett is penalised accordingly. Sean Smith with possession of the ball. Puts it out wide, looking for Spargo. Not a well-placed kick, though, and Gene Saron takes an easy mark.
Well, the North Melbourne forward line is absolutely pathetic at the moment, Bob.
I can only agree with you as it's hooked back towards the centre by Healy, taken by Yates. Yates steadies, puts it out on towards the wing. Robbie Flower out there in front there of Ackley. Gets a bounce, an awkward bounce for Flower. Into the back of Ackley was Flower. Ackley should have got the free kick, but it matters not. He got the hand pass out to Law. Law lost possession, regained it, drives it towards half forward. Great effort that time by Clarkson. It's picked up by Larkin, who drives the ball long. It wasn't Larkin, it was Sean Smith up towards a player in Larkin now. Larkin can't get boot to ball. A great tackle by Melbourne, and we find Brett Bailey bringing the ball away. Up towards centre wing, stretch up and down before acceptances. Comes out towards Williams. Williams on centre wing. He's got a player in short in Newport. Hand passes instead to Stretch. Stretch steadies, puts a high floating kick in the air. An awkward one for anybody to mark. Nobody can as Mossop punches it away. Tapped on again. Dean's first there for Melbourne. Did he cop one too high? No, according to the umpire. The loose ball comes back towards Viney. Viney comes out, taken by Steele. The long hand pass finds Clarkson. Clarkson onto the left foot. Floats the ball into the centre. Lovett takes it from Melbourne and drives the ball back.
Oh, what a great pass that was to Warren Dean. Tremendous play by Lovett. And North Melbourne's use of the ball is abysmal at the moment. And once again, that has cost them dearly. That hurried kick from Clarkson went straight into the hands of Lovett. Lovett with a beautiful 45-metre directed kick to Warren Dean. A strange way he holds the drop punt, but he does kick the ball an absolute mile. Offline for though he is, Warren Dean, a bad miss. He's missed a couple of sitters. He does hold that drop punt. He holds it right underneath the end of the football, which is a strange way of holding a ball.
10 more scoring shots the Demons have had. They lead by 30 points at the moment, 57 to 27. As Stretch brings the ball down, goes after it again, gathers it well. A beautiful pass from Stephen Stretch, straight into the arms of Tony Campbell. A short pass across the ground, and Stynes takes the mark. They're doing well, Pete.
Oh, they're playing great football, Melbourne, and North are playing poorly. It's a little bit of both, but Well, I hate to say it, but North are missing that drive of Jimmy Cracker. I think around the packs with his great pace and guts, and their little men aren't doing well, North Melbourne. They're not feeding off the packs, and too many North Melbourne players are flying against one another, and Melbourne are capitalising brilliantly on every mistake they make. There's the kick of Stynes, and it's a goal.
An excellent goal by Jim Stynes. He dropped down the ground. On replay, we see the pass coming there from Stephen Stretch to Tony Campbell. Campbell looks across the ground, sees Stynes coming down, and on replay now, the mark by Jim Stynes. 63-27. Melbourne fans delighted at the moment with the performance of their team, as well they might be. German comes out of the centre, well trapped by Matthew Larkin, hooked over the shoulder, down towards the forward area, punched away by Danny Hughes, tapped on there by Healy, taking it away as Spalding. The hand pass over the top to Newport. Newport towards half forward with a well-placed kick. At the back was Williams, couldn't quite take it, but recovers well. Ross Smith puts the ball forward to Steele. Steele gets a short kick onto McCann. McCann in trouble, got the hand pass in, smothered over the boundary line. Melbourne doing brilliantly at the moment. A great performance by the Melbourne side.
Yes, doing well. 36, and Steve McCann, he's been probably North Melbourne's best player, Steve McCann, and he's battling his heart out there at centre-half back. There's David Williams, a hurry kick to Flower, and Robbie Flower marks, off he goes, the Melbourne champ. Kicks wide, a big chance for Campbell. He misread that one. Harris is there, and Graham Yates. Campbell's got it. He runs to 30 metres from goal. He hooks it back, but not far enough. And he puts it through for yet another behind. But Melbourne are very, very dominant at the moment. Look at that, 19 scoring shots to 7. That just shows how well they have controlled this game. Darren Harris is a great kick, as I said earlier. Look at that long kick. Mossop. Down to the ground it goes. Crocker. Now, there's no movement at all on that Melbourne forward line. Crocker had no one to give it to. Now he has to go wide to McDonald, who's been fumbling all day since coming on the ground. Now, the umpire will come in and bounce it, but gee, that forward line is pathetic, Bob.
And it's not the greatest. If it wasn't for Phil Cracker, they'd be nowhere.
Well, he's touched it 4 times, and it's resulted in 4 goals.
Just over 23 minutes into the second quarter. Melbourne dominant at the moment as Darren Steele puts the ball forward for North Melbourne. Sean White tried to pick the ball up, almost lost his head. White gets the hand pass across, steadying and taking his time now towards goal as Jason Love won't make enough distance. Hepburn was up high. Can he get boot the ball? No, he cannot, and he is penalised. Well, I thought I would have bounced that one, I think, Pete.
I think most umpires would have bounced that. He's a pretty sudden death umpire. He's a good umpire, though. Clayton and Robinson, very experienced umpires. They've got to do something about that forward line, though, North Melbourne. Stynes, very mobile. Ruckman Stynes. He and O'Dwyer are great improvers. They've been coached this year by Don Scott, the former Hawthorn champion ruckman. It's made a big difference to the rucks at the Melbourne Football Club. There's Phil Cracker.
Must be a better coach than he was a player.
Well, here it is, back in the centre of the ground. And is that a free kick? They're paying the advantage, I think, to Melbourne. They are, as we see Newport to Williams. McCann is playing a great game. Onto the left foot goes McCann. Out wide, Peter German's had a quiet day. He's got it, though, this time. Now, a wobbly kick to finds John Law. Oh, gee, Sean Smith's hurt. He's coming off the ground for North Melbourne. So they're going to be down to 18 players, North Melbourne, shortly. Hepburn flies. He loses it. Phil Cracker. Lovely hand pass. Finds Clarkson. He ducks back. Over to Cracker. Now let's see what Phil can do. Another short pass. They're going all over the place, North Melbourne. He finds Crocker coming on as Chandler. That's bad luck. He doesn't look too good, Sean Smith. So there's 2 players off the ground, Peter Jonas and Sean Smith, and by the look of them, they may not come back on.
There's Darren Crocker. Just back after injury. Runs a bit close to the man on the mark. Doesn't cover a lot of kick with his boot to that ball. An awkward bounce. It was well taken by Clarkson, but his kick for goal is offline, and a 1 point the result. Alistair Clarkson kicks 1 point and takes North Melbourne to 4-4, while Melbourne are on 9-10 and doing it well. Sean Smith doesn't look too well at the moment. Melbourne might be doing it well, but Sean Smith doesn't look well. Lovely kick from Danny Hughes, punched away by Crocker. First on the scene is Spalding of Melbourne. The hand pass accepted by Newport. Newport towards half forward. A well-placed kick finds Warren Dean. Dean will be kicking from 55 metres out.
He'll kick this.
Lovely kick as far as length is concerned. He kicked it all right, but it's through for 1 point.
He is a long kick of a football, but he's got that tendency. The way he holds the football is the reason he hooks a lot of his kicks and hooks them through for points on the left-hand side. But you can see how dominant they are, Melbourne. This is an impressive performance. 9-11 to 4-4. Crocker, he's been one of North's better players. They've had a touch of the fumbles, but that's due to a lot of the pressure that's been put on. Demetrio gets it out to Love. Love to Mossop, and Mossop from centre wing kicks it high. Cracker against Sharon, punched away by Sharon to Hepburn. Now who's up there in the goal square? Cracker leads in the race for the ball. Let's see what the magic of Phil Cracker can do. Oh, look at that. He still goes in after it. He's got it. Oh, he loses it. Actually threw that one away. Oh, thrown away by Danny Hughes. Spalding was in there, or was it Sean White? In fact, it was Spalding.
Might have been out in the full, I thought.
Oh, gee, there was some... I thought Phil Cracker threw it away, and then Danny Hughes did, but the umpire let it go. 27 minutes gone, second quarter.
John Northey having a word on the phone. It's tapped over the back. Taken away from Melbourne by Bret Bailey. It floats towards the boundary line. And Warren Dean can't take it. McCann's in there. And Dean finishing up in the hands of these Melbourne trainers. Fortunately, he's okay. Melbourne's finals record, all prior to 23 years ago, which was 1964.
Great side in the 50s, Bob.
No doubt about that, Pete. The best side around in those days, as Hepburn has the ball thumped away by the Melbourne defence. And North Melbourne might be a little bit inexperienced, you know, when you look around that lineup.
North Melbourne?
Yes.
Yes, and although a lot of them have played in finals, but...
there's a lot that haven't too.
There's a lot of young players there as well, but I'll tell you one thing about North. I've said it at the first half. We see the ball kicked out of bounds in front of the Melbourne members. Never write off North Melbourne. I've seen this time and time again. They'll fight back in the second half. You can bet your boots on that.
Well, they'll need to, as on replay we see they really cop one there. Clarkson. Not Clarkson. On that occasion, it was Chandler. The kick was smothered. It comes back to Healy. Healy runs forward, puts it towards the half-forward line, but Darren Steele's in the way to take a timely mark for North Melbourne. Steele puts it out wide. Peter German on the wing, in the middle of players. Free kick to German, and he will take the kick, but North are in trouble.
Gee, that was courageous, wasn't it, by German then?
Peter German, 62 VFL games. 22 years of age, recruited from Oak Park. And it's Peter German's first finals game as the siren sounds for half-time. Melbourne 9-11, 65. Well on top of North Melbourne on 4-4-28.
Well, you can see by the scoreboard that Melbourne have absolutely dominated this game. Right from the centre bounce, they've had far more players around the ball. They've been sure with it.
Melbourne lead at the moment by 37 points. One half of football left to go as Mossop thumps it wide. Picked up by Yates of Melbourne. Floats the ball forward. Chandler and Ackley both collided. Two North Melbourne players. Larkin's in there. Wins possession. Throws it out in front. Was still in possession. Tapped back by Mossop. Forced forward by McDonald, who might be down there in defence now. The hand pass intercepted by Stynes. He goes short and finds Warren Dean. McCann at centre half forward for North Melbourne. Donald McDonald centre half back. As Warren Dean goes long up towards the square for Melbourne. Tapped away. Law gets the hand pass in. Mossop tried to get boot to ball. Picked up by Flower. Snapped towards goal. It's a great goal.
Well, that's exactly what the Demons wanted as Robert Flower kicked his second. And Melbourne move further in front. There are the Demon supporters. John Laura, hand pass to Mossop. Can't get his boot to it. Robbie Flower picks it up under enormous pressure. Hooks it back. And the start of the third quarter, that's exactly what North Melbourne did not want. And there he is, the Melbourne champ. Robbie Flower being picked up today by Ackley, who actually has done a fair job on Robert Flower today. Back to the centre, Mossop. North have played very, very poorly. Who would have thought this after they played so well against Carlton last week? There's Dean receiving from Spalding to Viney, 3 recruits that Melbourne obtained this year. And David Williams is marked at half-forward flank. 3 of their interstate recruits combining there beautifully to get the ball to Williams. Now, David Williams from 50-metre line, I'd say the distance a definite doubt. Probably should be able to land it up in the goal square at least if he goes for the drop punt, which he does. It's a beautiful looking kick. Up into the goal square it goes, and eventually it's forced through for a behind to the Demons. So they move further in front. 10-12, 72 to 4-4. A very lacklustre 4-4-28 by North Melbourne.
Well, North Melbourne desperately needing a goal as Ackley puts the ball back into play, but Yates, called play on by the umpire. Yates gets the hand pass in, finds Viney, he steadies, puts the left foot forward. No mark down there by Campbell, but Williams into the open goal. Melbourne further in front.
Well, I made the comment during the second quarter that North Melbourne, you can bet your socks that they'll come back. Well, I don't know about it now after this brilliant start by Melbourne at the beginning of the third quarter. North Melbourne normally fight it right out. Now it's a real test. Will they be eliminated, North Melbourne, after that brilliant effort against Carlton last week? They've been thoroughly outclassed today by a very determined Melbourne side.
Centre bounce. 50 points, the margin in favour of Melbourne. Larkin goes after it. Stynes might be in a bit of trouble in the centre behind play. The big ruckman in the background just getting up. He's hobbling around. And he's coming in though to compete for the centre bounce. Not actually a centre bounce. It's a ball up about 5 metres out from the centre. Mossop wins the tap. Intercepted though by Stretch. Gets boot to ball. Ross Smith was up high. Ricky Jackson came through. Cop one too high. Called play on with the advantage rule. Viney goes short and wide and Williams takes the mark. Well, one thing I don't agree with is Chandler at full back.
No. Young Chandler, Jeff Chandler playing on David Williams, a pretty tough task. Chandler's a pretty small player. And Williams has kicked 3. And is right on the boundary line. The way things are going for the Demons at the moment, he may even kick this one as he runs out, gives himself a bit of room, but he does hook it, and in fact has hooked it through for a behind. And in fact, Melbourne could be a lot further in front with the number of scoring shots they've had, 11-13 to 4-4. And North have really played abysmal football today, and maybe that's taken the credit away from Melbourne. There's a great long kick, but just not enough contesting and pressure being put on by North as Coop takes a very easy mark on his chest. He hooks this torpedo towards the pocket. Up they go, the ball fisted away. There's a chance for Dean to Williams. Oh, no one anywhere near David Williams. He picks it up. Left foot fires at goal. But he was given far too much latitude then, Bob.
Well, I don't think young Chandler's the answer down there. And I think, no, Chandler's coming out to the wing now, so maybe John Kennedy agrees.
Well, he hasn't got a man at the moment, Williams, I don't think. Or no, Harris is going to pick him up, or John Law, I would think. Well, there's Mossop fisting it away towards Clarkson. They're going around in circles, North Melbourne, as Demetrio kicks a high one towards centre wing. They all stood and looked at it. McCann, he loses it. And the umpire said it's a holding the man decision back here on centre wing, and it will go North Melbourne's way, I would think, to Steve McCann or to Ross Smith, one of the two. In fact, it's going to Steve McCann from centre wing. He brings it to half forward. Sean Smith and Sean White, the two Seans doing battle, and Sean White wins out to Viney, who's caught, loses it. In they go, Newport. A high one. Warren Dean at the back of the pack. Up he goes. Loses it to Darren Steele. Let's see what North Melbourne can do up forward. Spargo from behind. Can't take the mark. Sean Smith's in there trying to get it out to Spargo, and eventually it's held to that player, and in comes Ian Clayton to bounce it.
Well, Melbourne have just applied too much pressure to North Melbourne, and the Northerners have not been able to handle it. John Kennedy on the phone. Just what can he say to his team at the moment that can get them moving? McCann does well. His kick smothered though. Viney picks it up, gets Melbourne into the forward zone again. Half forward line. Flower taps it over the back. Dean coming through. Well tackled. Loses possession. Ackley tugs it. Gets a hand pass to McDonald. McDonald pushing the back. Steele coming through for North Melbourne. Took too long to get rid of it, but able to get boot to ball nonetheless. Picked up now by Demetrio. The loose hand pass taken by Stynes. Back to Ricky Jackson. A good turn of speed. A nice hand pass across to Newport. From 55 metres out he goes goalward. Punched away by Law. He goes after it again. Tony Campbell there for Melbourne. Over the line it goes. A throw-in to take place. Melbourne playing excellent football. 28 to 21 hit-outs in favour of North Melbourne. That's about the only spot on the ground that they'd be leading.
Well, I don't think hit-outs mean anything in modern-day football, Bob.
Not when you find the ball hitting the ground on a free kick like that.
Well, yesterday Hawthorn and the Swans, we looked at the hit-outs at one stage. A mile in front was Swans, and yet they were being thrashed on the scoreboard, and it's happening again today. And a bit of frustration going on out there. Bret Bailey talking to Ian Robinson, who's very cool, calm and collected, and so is this player, Warren Dean, a very, very good footballer. You watch the way he holds the ball. Right with his fingers underneath the bottom of the ball, but he's had 10 kicks. There's the kick from Dean. It's close. It's a goal.
Warren Dean kicks his second goal, and Melbourne go to 12 goals, 14, 86. Well on top of North Melbourne, 4-4, 28. In a fine performance by the Demons, and one that the members' stand has been absolutely delighted with, and deservedly so.
Tell you what, Robbie Flower will reconsider, I think, next year.
28 to 86 in favour of the Demons. Mossop gets the big thump. Sharon picks it up, drives it back. It's a lovely kick by Sharon up towards half forward, and we find David Williams taking the mark. Williams will be kicking from 60 metres out.
There's no way known Darren Harris is the man for Williams. He's too slow. Williams has got to have a quick player on him, Bob.
Yes, I must agree with you there. I would have left Ross Smith on him personally, as Williams kicks into the man on the mark. Now, I don't think he was over the mark. Now, Williams ran too close to the man on the mark, and for mine it was his fault, not the fault of the man on the mark.
I think you're right too, Bob.
I think umpire Robinson has made a bad blue on that one. And Williams, I think, will make the most of the 15-metre penalty, though, and bring up his fourth goal. David Williams, formerly from Rochester. Towards goal. Doesn't make use of a full chance.
He misses a lot of set shots, David Williams, and he has all year. He often kicks 4 or 5 points in a game. And
it's amazing, those people who kick drop punts all the time, they do it.
12-15 plays 4-4, and Melbourne, it's been a very impressive performance. There's Darren Harris. Let's see him kick a football. He can certainly do that, but look at that. Sean White has been absolutely outstanding, and they've been thrashed up forward, North Melbourne. They haven't got a winner. Maybe Phil Cracker was doing fairly well, but then again, so was Dean Sharon on him. There's Sean White, the dasher, to Bailey, and they're on fire, the Melbourne side. It's picked up by Bailey. He hooks it back. Johnny Law looking very slow as he went in after that one. It's grabbed by Stretch. Stretch brings it back into play. Well done by young Chandler. He kicks it across the ground. Up they go. It's Ross Smith punching away. Warren Dean against Matthew Larkin. Dean leads in the race. Great skills by Dean. Back it comes to Spalding. Taken away by Larkin. Larkin the German. They need those two firing. Peter German comes down the ground. He kicks it long. He's looking for Phil Cracker. He can't take the mark. Alistair Clarkson's got it. A little chip pass across towards Spargo, he slips over. They can't do a thing right, North. Spargo's still going in after it. Now it's Sharon. He's legged. Play on, said the umpire. Hand pass finds Stretch. And Stephen Stretch, they do it well, Melbourne, as the kick comes out to Greg Healy.
Healy on centre wing. 15-metre penalty will go against Chandler. Healy's got the loose man up forward. Yates takes it. Goes up with a short pass. Right onto the chest of Robert Flower. And Robert Flower playing his 272nd league game. His first final. Well, that applies to every Melbourne player, but you wouldn't think it to see the way they're going about it. Robbie Flower's kick up towards the goal square. Punched away. First on the scene is Donald McDonald. Puts it out towards the half-back line. Brett Bailey gets a push in the back. Called play on by the umpire. Larkin was held. We're not in possession. Larkin does well to come out with it. Bailey tackles him. Able to get the hand pass in. No call to throw by the umpire. Larkin and Brett Bailey, and Bailey is really coming into it.
Well, they're putting enormous pressure on, Bob, and you can see Larkin caught there as we see Bailey bring it in towards goal. Mossop, a good diving mark. Enormous pressure put on North at the moment by the Melbourne players.
You can take nothing away from Melbourne. They've done everything right. They're tackling, they're leading to the ball. No matter which way you look at it, Melbourne deservedly hold a lead, and a big lead at this stage. 12 and a half minutes into the third term. 87 to 29, 59 points the margin. Clarkson gets the hand pass on. North Melbourne under real pressure now as they just kick almost wildly. McCann taps the ball forward, taps it on again, but straight to Sean White. Hand pass forward, taken by Stynes. Stynes with a long kick down towards the forward area. Donald McDonald first on the scene. Well tackled by Ricky Jackson, and the loose ball picked up by Williams. Tapped away by Flower from Ackley. North Melbourne almost fighting amongst themselves. Ross Smith picks the ball up, drives it towards the centre wing. Courageous effort that time by Viney. McCann kicks the ball off the ground. Sean White first on the scene. Traps it beautifully. Little chip pass. Great play as he finds Newport.
Stephen Newport towards Healy. Good play by Darren Steele. Terrific football. Up it comes towards the forward line. Fisted away. Darren Harris is now down at full forward. John Kennedy's making a lot of moves as we see the trip on Earl Spalding. And Spalding will take it from centre half back. But he's making moves now, but it's all to no avail. They're not doing well. North Melbourne a push out on that occasion to Hepburn, and that should be 15 metres. And it is, as Hepburn has to go 30 metres back to collect that ball. Good umpiring by Ian Clayton. Bit of discipline umpiring now. This is where they're falling down, though. Once it gets to that forward zone, their forwards have been absolutely pathetic. They're not contesting. They're not putting in hard enough and putting pressure on that Melbourne backline. There's a magnificent kick. Cracker! He's got it, Phil Cracker. A good mark, running back with the flight of the ball. Beautiful judgment. And a long kick by Hepburn made all the difference there. Phil Cracker, eyes on the ball. He's kicked two. He's on a very acute angle. We'll see that unusual kicking style of Phil Cracker. He's going the banana kick. Well, I don't know about that, Bob. I mean, he had plenty of space to see. Surely you'd have a set shot, wouldn't you?
I would have imagined so, but that wasn't to be. Jason Love coming on the ground in place of Sean Smith, and the ball's kicked to Sean Smith's opponent. That is Sean White. White puts the ball forward. Ackley lets the ball come down. Newport was pushing the back. Love has just come on the ground, drives it forward, and a mark taken down there by Alistair Clarkson. Clarkson 50 metres out from goal. And he's kicking from about 55 metres. Not a lot of movement on the north forward line. He goes short, and Darren Harris. Now Harris is a lovely kick of the football.
I was about said earlier, I'll put my reputation on the line here, Bob. I think I said earlier he's one of the longest kicks in league football. Let's see if he makes the distance from 50 metres.
Kick doesn't make the distance, but Phil Cracker has taken the mark, plays on, snaps towards goal, but he's missed it. Now I don't think he should have played on, Pete.
No, I think the idea was all right, but he should have waited till he had time to think about it, settle down, then taken his kick and then run out and opened up the goals. Now there's his opponent Dean Sharon getting away and bring it towards half-back. They're just making no impression whatsoever. The Demons are playing magnificent football. Robbie Flower from half-back flank brings it to half-forward. Darren Crocker can't take the mark. Graham Yates at the base of the pack has got the ball, punches it away cleverly, goes in to get it. In goes Demetrio, a clever hand pass, finds Ackley. Ackley to Clarkson, and also his teammate up there in Love couldn't get there, and eventually it's forced over the line. But that Melbourne back line has been relentless, and there's one of them.
Crocker now at full-back, Pete.
Well, they've just moved them all over the place. They've had to do something. Look at the marks. 52 Melbourne to North Melbourne 32. We saw Sean White a moment ago. He has been dominant on the back line once again. It's grabbed off the back by Spargo. Back it comes, but again an uncontested mark, and this time to Lovett.
So Bret Lovett, formerly of Hawthorn, captain of Hawthorn thirds. Stynes does well to tap the ball through to Flower. Lovely hand pass to Viney. Viney on now to Dean. A chance of going forward. Dean steadies. Puts a long kick down towards the square. Campbell, real courage, going back the wrong way. And Tony Campbell takes the mark and has the opportunity of kicking his second and Melbourne's 13th goal. Replay, gutsy effort.
For the advantage of the long kick once again shown out. Dean's kicking ability, a 60-metre kick. Campbell running back with the flight. As Bob said, gutsy effort, eyes on the ball. There's the kick from Campbell, and it's another one to the Demons.
2 goals to Tony Campbell, and it's 93 to 30. 63 points the margin. Now, I don't think anybody, even the people who did tip Melbourne to win this, could have possibly thought that at the 18-minute mark of the third quarter, the margin between the sides would be 63 points. John Law, Tony Campbell.
Well, it's a slaughter. This 13-15 to 4-6. I said earlier that North Melbourne always come back. Well, I'm surprised they haven't made any impression whatsoever. And I think that's because of the great play of the Melbourne side. And there's Lovett. That back line has been magnificent. Spalding, Lovett, Sean White, they've all done their little bit. There's a good mark. He's battling hard, Darren Steele, as he brings it towards centre wing. He's looking at Spalding putting the pressure on McCann. McCann goes in after it, gets a hurry kick. German has been very quiet. He's caught with the ball, holding the ball, and that's been the story of the game.
Well, Melbourne tackling superbly right throughout the game. Good effort by Dean, couldn't quite take the mark. Williams picks it up, puts it out wide. 2-on-1. Law can't get there for North Melbourne, neither can Campbell. Flower was there to lend support for Melbourne, but it beat them all over the boundary line. So we're throwing to take place. Forward pocket for Melbourne. 145 to 124, the kicks, and a very worried John Kennedy on the phone. Ricky Jackson onto the left foot, snaps towards goal, and the Demons further in front.
Well, the little fella has kicked his second goal, Ricky Jackson. What a beautiful Rovers goal that was, and he was discarded by the Richmond Football Club. I think they could have done with him this year, seeing they finished as wooden spooners. He's a real little zippy rover as he picks it up, hooks it through for his second great goal of the game. And, well, I'm sure they could have done with him at Richmond this year, Bob.
Ricky Jackson's stats. Richmond could have done with a lot of people this year. Centre bounce. Melbourne playing superbly as McCann and Spalding compete. McCann won the tap, but it was Coop who put the ball back for Melbourne. Jackson caught one, but he'll be straight up back into it again. Viney puts the ball out in front of Williams, traps it on the half volley. A very quick hand pass. It's picked up by Crocker. Crocker back towards centre wing. Coop being told by Viney exactly how he stands. He has plenty of time. Easily gets around the tackle. Would have got a free kick anyway. Newport gives it back. Over the top it comes to Viney. Viney tackled, loses possession. It's picked up by Spargo. His short kick goes along the ground. Bailey coming through. Couldn't take it the first time. It's knocked out of his hands. Over the line it goes. In fact, it's a free kick to Melbourne. And whether it went over on the full or whether it's a push in the back, it matters not. The hand pass comes out from Healy to Hughes. Hughes goes long over the half-forward line, and the mark taken by Robert Flower.
Well, there's a very, very happy crowd. Well, most of them, they're happy. There might be a few North Melbourne supporters there. Robbie Flower hasn't had a sensational day, but he's already kicked 2, and that's the value of this player. He's only had 5 kicks, but there's the kick from Flower. He's kicked it. It's another one.
Robert Flower kicks his 3rd goal, and in this quarter, Melbourne have added 6 goals for, while North Melbourne have added 2 solitary points.
Well, there's the one-on-one contest and the beautiful judgment of Flower over the back in front of Ackley, and they have been thrashed everywhere today, North Melbourne.
Well, it was like yesterday, Pete, and last week we had a magnificent final round with 5 out of 7 games really close. This week, the 2 opening final series, and they've been whitewashes. And, well, I say whitewashes when we're only 22 minutes into the 3rd term, but the way Melbourne are playing, and that player in particular, Sean White, gives it across to Bret Lovett. In towards the centre it goes. Yates comes through, pops one too high. Melbourne doing as they like. Advantage rule not being paid, I don't think. Graham Yates copped a heavy one, but there's plenty of courage in that little fella.
Had a great year, Graham Yates. He's all right, though. He'll get up and take his kick, I think.
And if I was the Melbourne players, I wouldn't be worrying too much about evening up there. There wasn't much in it. And with the way they're playing, they want to concentrate on the ball and just get that situation going. Yates with the kick. A little groggy. Hepburn punches the ball away. Not a lot of talking by North Melbourne as Hughes gets the hand pass out to Bailey, onto Healy from the half-forward line. Healy hooks the ball back, finds Newport, who came down from the half-back line. Melbourne just doing as they like. It's a cakewalk.
Well, look, I'm wrapped in the way Melbourne are playing, but I reckon North Melbourne's performance is absolutely abysmal. Their forwards have been a disgrace. I haven't seen one of their forwards playing in front all day, Bob, and I think that is a disgrace for a forward line in the final to be 10 yards behind your opponent, not attacking the ball. And just been no pressure whatsoever on the Melbourne players, and North Melbourne most disappointing as we see Newport from 40 metres out, fires at goal, and he's offline and through for 1 point.
Well, regardless of what you say about North Melbourne, you can take nothing at all away from the Melbourne Football Club. They have taken the game not up to North Melbourne, but away from North Melbourne with great football.
Yeah, I agree, Bob, but I just wonder, they had their final last week, I think, North Melbourne against Carlton. They put so much in, they were so impressive, and they can come out and play like this, but that's how well Melbourne are playing. It's kicked off the ground. Oh, there's a big mark by Harris. He goes for the booming kick. It's off the side of the boot, up to Hepburn. He can't take the mark. Now he's got it. He hooks it back towards the goal square. Mossop's ducking back, couldn't get there, and it goes through for a point to North Melbourne. 4 goals, 7 they are, and at half-time they were 4-4, so they have only kicked 3 points, and we're nearly into the time-on period of the 3rd quarter.
Off the hands of the pack, well taken by Coop. Coop towards centre wing, punched away by Yates. Coming through is Clarkson of North Melbourne, hooks the ball towards centre half forward. Mossop coming out, takes a nice mark. A good effort by Mossop. Now, it would be the understatement of the year if I said a badly needed goal, but can Mossop kick the distance from 50 metres out?
I think John Mossop's kicking, since he had that knee injury, lacks distance, and I think he'd be a big doubt about the distance here, Bob. I think he'll land it up in the goal square for sure. There's a nice looking spectator, Bob. Saw your eyes light up. Marion's not here, as we see Mossop. Yes, I thought so. Just a slight doubt. Tried to strain a little bit too much. Now that's a mark to Harris, though. He marked it just in front of the line. Now he should go back and really think about this kick. And possibly now that he's gone back to the mark, he should then run out and kick it on the left foot. No, he's off, is he? Is he played on? No, said the umpire. He's going for the banana kick from the boundary line. He kicks and he misses. So another point on the board, and they're still yet to score a goal in this quarter, North Melbourne. Look at that for a hiding. 15-16 to 4-8. So we see Mossop's kick. Darren Harris ducks back. and a very good mark right just in front of the line.
Sean White, probably the best man on the ground, and the way he's gone about it, he's been a great example. They were in defence, long kick. Oh, lovely mark to Spalding.
She's been a good player this year too, Bob.
Well, Melbourne's 3 recruits, Viney, Dean and Spalding, have all done excellent jobs for their team as Crocker bursts through. Does well to put the ball wide. Gene Chiron out there with the Phil Cracker right up the ground. And Melbourne won't mind seeing Phil Cracker up there because he's nowhere near as dangerous up there as he is closer to goal.
Well, I think he's going up there to get the ball because it's just not coming down to him.
McCann puts a long kick forward. Spalding couldn't take it, and that's worth a kick as Sean White just thumps it wide. German of North Melbourne takes it, but look at that tackle by Viney. Excellent play. Viney picks it up, hand passes across to Ricky Jackson. A blind turn and he's out of trouble. Puts it up towards centre wing, and the mark taken by Warren Dean. It's Melbourne in full flight as Dean puts it out. The bounce favours Flower. Read the ball beautifully. Flower goes towards goal. Great goal, Robert Flower.
Well, Robert Flower, the Melbourne champ, has kicked his 4th goal, and it's amazing how the ball will bounce in the direction of the champions. As you watch this, he waits for this. If you watch it, he'll stay back. See that? Beautiful judgment, that is, and it might have been a bit of luck as well, of course.
Oh, no, I think you called it right, Pete.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any luck in that. He read the ball beautifully and then copped it off.
Good players make their luck, and that's exactly what he did then, the Melbourne champ. Well, we're back to the centre, and what a disappointing game, but it's brilliant for them as far as Melbourne are concerned. 16-16 to 4-8. A real hiding this for North Melbourne by the Melbourne side, and I'll tell you what, they look a real good side. They're going to be a good side for a few more years too, because most of those players are very young players at that Melbourne side. There's Crocker, caught. John Law is there, and they can't do a thing right, North Melbourne. They're fumbling and fiddling around with it because of the pressure being put on by Melbourne. As we see Campbell take it to the line, and the umpire said a free kick to Matthew Larkin for holding the ball. I think he must have paid that, or else deliberate. As we see the ball brought back to centre wing. Over the back of the pack was Yates. Grabbed by German to Chandler. Chandler, no one in particular to kick it to. He just heads up to the half-forward line, and Sean White, a rocket Gibraltar, puts it over the line. 31 scoring shots, Melbourne. North Melbourne, miserly 12.
That tells the story of the game, Pete. All over the ground, Melbourne holding sway, and there hasn't been a weakness in the Melbourne side. They deserved their lead. Viney, a long hand pass over the boundary line it goes. They've gone from strength to strength, the Demons, and the longer this game goes, the more confidence the Demons they just thrive on this performance. A big crowd in the members' stand have urged them on. Not that that's mattered, because they haven't needed any urging. They've taken it right away from North Melbourne. Ackley does well to drive the ball towards the half-forward line. White takes the mark. It's on the second grab. He doesn't worry about it. Puts a long left foot kick forward. Yates takes an excellent effort. Called play on by the umpire. Chandler kicks it off the ground. Picked up by McCann. Driven back towards the half-forward line. But White in the way once again. What a great game he's played.
Yes, he is playing a great game, but the North Melbourne forwards, I tell you what, they ought to hang their heads in shame. They're not even playing in front, as we see Stynes down towards half-forward. That's a mark to Hepburn. Hepburn now kicks long. Let's see. Now White is behind, now in front, and a good mark to Peter German. And they need a little bit more of that. Harris ducks back. He should kick it quickly and get Harris one out with his opponent. There's the kick now. Harris eventually caught behind. One-handed attempt for the mark. Harris loses it. In they go. A chance now for Jason Love as he hooks it back. Phil Cracker waits over the back, but there's the siren to end a brilliant third quarter by the Demons. And at three-quarter time here at the MCG, Melbourne lead 16-16, 112 to North Melbourne, 4 goals, 8. A miserable
deficit. Melbourne have thrashed North Melbourne all over the ground. A high bounce. McCann beaten for it by Hughes. picked up by Ross Smith, who drives it back towards the half-forward line. Love along with White, but White takes the ball away. He hasn't put a foot wrong all day. Straightens up, breaks through the tackles, one bounce. And he really, from the moment the game started, has been an inspiration to the Melbourne side. Pete?
Well, you know what I think is Sean White. I think I said earlier in the game, a Victorian player next year across the half-back line. No doubt about that. There he is. A lot of people think he's an Irishman. He's not. He's a Scotsman. And a wild and woolly Scotsman he is too, and a tremendous acquisition to the Melbourne side. And as Bob said, he has dominated this game. Here's Phil Cracker, has been moved further up the ground, receiving from Demetrio, up to Mossop, and Cracker, there's no doubt he's only touched the ball about 6 or 7 times today, but every time something constructive has happened for North Melbourne. That was a beautiful football as it came up there to Mossop, and Mossop marks about 35 metres out from goal. Now, I'm sure John Kennedy would have asked those North Melbourne players to just try and save a little bit of face and show a little bit of pride in this final quarter, because in the first 3 they were abysmal. As we see, the kick by Mossop is an absolute shocker and through for 1 point. So nothing going right.
Well, you can never get them when you need them, do you?
I think they need more than one. They haven't scored a goal since half-time, of course.
Sharon playing on, gives it to Coop. Up towards the centre wing. Good effort to mark that time by Hepburn, but it's taken away by Stephen Stretch. A long kick towards half-forward, and Ricky Jackson takes a well-judged mark. Jackson, who has kicked 2 goals, gets the lead, puts it out in front of Campbell, but no, the ball has to be brought back. He's not allowed to play on in that situation.
Well, very technical by the umpire there, as Jackson. Now, this is, the lead had been made by Viney as he hand-passed it back to Jackson, but Jackson's now going to elect to go for the long kick from 50 metres. A torpedo punt is a magnificent kick. It's a goal.
I think that sums things up, Pete. Melbourne can certainly do nothing wrong today as Ricky Jackson kicks his 3rd goal. And the Demons go to 17-16, 118. As on replay, we see that fine mark taken there by Ricky Jackson. And it's amazing feat. He wanted to play on and do a short pass. When the umpire made him come back, he went for the torpedo punt kick and kicked a lovely goal.
And great to see the torpedo punt kick in use too. You don't see it too often in league football. Stretch has been his usual honest self today, Stephen Stretch. Up towards the forward line he goes, but it's marked up there by Ackley. Ackley to Phil Cracker. Cracker obviously either playing on the ball or certainly up around the centre area. He gets it across to Chandler. Chandler on half-back flank. No system at all today for North Melbourne. Oh, punched away by Viney. That was great team play. He finds Danny Hughes, who's enjoying it up the ground. Hughes to Flower, and the long kick again on the Melbourne champ. Robbie Flower, he's kicked 4, and he's ducked back to 25 metres out from goal, and you'll see it in replay. The long kick, just superior judgment, no pressure on Robert Flower from right in front. Goal number 5, is it? Yes.
5 goals to Robbie Flower, and the Melbourne side, as we said earlier, not one of the players have played a VFL finals game, but they have looked like the more experienced, more mature, more composed side than North Melbourne have right throughout the day. Robbie Flower with 8 kicks and 4 handballs for the game, but 5 straight goals on the board. A great performance from the half-forward flank. Centre bounce. McCann against Hughes. Hughes again wins the tap, forces it forward. Trying to burst his way through was McDonald, couldn't do so, and it's taken away by Viney, who's been an excellent player for the Demons. His kick towards half-forward. Flower doing the shepherding for David Williams. Williams gives a hand pass across to Flower. Flower breaks the tackle, goes onto the left foot, now straightens up, back onto the right foot, hooks it across the face of goal. An awkward bounce for Darren Steele, but he keeps the ball in front of him. Good player, but Melbourne come across. Ross Smith comes through for North Melbourne, up towards centre wing. Larkin leads in the race for the ball, tapped it one way, then goes onto the left foot, steadies, straightens up now and hooks it towards half forward. Up high is Sean White, given good support by Earl Spalding, and Spalding goes into the centre. A beautiful pass finds Viney. Viney puts a grass cutter straight into the chest of his teammate there in David Williams.
Well, that's the old Bobby Skilton step pass, that one. Although it wasn't a drop kick, it was a low trajectory drop punt. It was a ripper, a daisy cutter as it used to be called. 11 kicks and 3 handballs, and every skill in the game is being displayed by the Melbourne side today, and it is beautiful to watch. They're backing up, they're tackling. Bailey's done an excellent job on Larkin to take him right out of the game. As we see David Williams from 50 metres, it's not a bad looking kick. Is it a goal? No, touched right on the line. It was touched by Stephen McCann. So David Williams has kicked 3. There's a real live wire up forward. He's kicked 3 goals, 4 in fact. Ackerley with the big job on Flower. He's had 5 goals kicked on him. Off he goes, David Ackerley, formerly of South Melbourne and the Sydney Swans. Up towards half-back flank. German hasn't been a dominant player today. In fact, North have had very few good players today. A hand pass to Larkin. Oh, fisted it. Geez, a tremendous player, that Sean White.
Yes, he has played a superb game.
He is a great player.
Throw in, midway between centre wing and half forward for North Melbourne. Taken by German, hooked over the shoulder towards the half forward line. And White came over the top to try and punch it away. Couldn't get fist the ball, but still did enough to make sure that his North Melbourne opponent in Jason Love couldn't take the mark.
John Kennedy on the phone, Bobby, looks a very unhappy man, and who'd want to be a coach in this situation?
Well, there can only be one winner, but I'm sure that John Kennedy would have preferred that his team put up a far better performance than this. Well, that's understandable anyway. That's the most stupid comment I've ever said.
Well, I'm used to them. Well, we're 1-1 now. As it's on almost on centre wing. It's round near the Melbourne members stand, and well, I don't think the Sydney Swans players would be too happy if they watch this exhibition. They'll have to meet Melbourne next week. There's the kick from Phil Cracker down towards half forward, and Demetrio to Clarkson, and they're running around in circles. Oh, magnificent smother by Sean White. Tremendous play. Still on that half-back line as we see Bailey heading for the boundary line, and tremendous team play that by all the Melbourne players. And I don't know whether John Northey will bother about using these 2 interchange players today, although they are warming up at the moment. Around the boundary line, there's Jason Love off the ground. Sean Smith back on. Both of those players have hardly had a touch today. Greg Healy, he's been relatively quiet, Greg Healy. We haven't seen a lot of him today, Bob.
Well, he's had a lot of teammates who have done work, and we've seen Greg Healy at times when he's been a lone star in the Melbourne lineup, and today he's had support all over the ground, so he hasn't needed to do as much. Hepburn puts the ball up towards centre wing. Harris racing after it. Smothered over the boundary line it goes with the Warren Dean, and I think North Melbourne, well,
they looked totally disinterested then, didn't they?
I think the scoreboard has caused that. 33 to 125. 9 minutes gone as Bret Lovett puts the torpedo punt kick right up forward. Flower up high. A lovely mark for Robbie Flower. Has the opportunity of playing on. A shocking kick from Flower, but Campbell traps it. A hand pass out wide to Williams. Williams straightens up onto the right foot. Snaps towards goal. Offline, 1 point. Ackley in trouble back behind play.
Well, that might be because of Flower, and Robbie Flower is coming off the ground. He'll get a hero's reception as he comes off. He's kicked 5. He's taken the mark of the day, and Robbie Flower is getting a standing ovation right round the ground, and rightly so. What a great time this is for Robert Flower. No precautions being taken with the Melbourne champ. He'll be playing again next week. Stephen Stretch on screen. Oh, beautiful kick. A 60-metre kick to the goal square, and it's a mark. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. Russell Richards, the interchange players. We see David Ackley coming off. Has been on the ground for 30 seconds. He says, listen, I want to get into the act. And he's taken a great mark in the forward pocket. Well, look at that. Russell Richards, Rhino as they call him. 81 VFL games from right in front. Is it another one? No, hit the post, said the goal umpire. So Russell Richards, that's about the first mistake Melbourne's made all day.
They might take him off.
18-19 to 4-9. A magnificent exhibition of football, this by the Demons.
I don't think anybody could possibly have even imagined a result such as this. I know many people, looking at the tipsters, many people went for Melbourne. I personally thought that North Melbourne would win because I saw them play last week against Carlton as Mossop puts the ball out wide. And as you said earlier, Pete, maybe they played their final game last week. Melbourne on a high roller as Simon Olshold prepares to come on the ground. And David Ackley, looks like a bad ankle. Hepburn up high, couldn't quite take it. Ricky Jackson does. A long hand pass by that player. Healy comes out. Darren Steele, who's tried his heart out for North Melbourne today. Darren Steele. Todd Viney off the ground. Another excellent player from Melbourne, replaced by Simon Olshold. We're just over 11 minutes into the last quarter as Viney comes around the boundary. Stynes couldn't quite take it. Matthew Larkin comes through. No advantage rule being paid, and it'll come back. In fact, no advantage because it's going to be a free kick to Melbourne. So Jim Stynes goes for the short pass. A well-placed kick sees the ball taken by Williams, who wants to get the ball moving in a hurry. Not a lot of movement. He's got Eyeshoal wide. Over the back, Dean. Eyeshoal couldn't quite take it. Ricky Jackson tries to keep it in play. Does so with a hand pass. Campbell snaps towards goal. Melbourne can do no wrong.
Well, 3 goals that is now to Tony Campbell. 19-19 to 4-9, but what tremendous play by Ricky Jackson. Campbell shrugged the tackle, hooked it in quickly for a goal, and they can do no wrong. As we look at the scoreboard, 19-19 to 4-9, we'll see it in replay. Great play by Jackson. A lot of players would have let it go over the line, but he handballed to Campbell. Campbell under pressure, goal.
100 points to margin. 1 point more than Hawthorn won by yesterday, and I'm sure that John Kennedy will not be too happy if North Melbourne do not show a bit of fight now and try and stop being beaten by 100 points.
Well, I opened my mouth and said that you could bet that they'll come back. They haven't come back, and that surprises me because North Melbourne have got a lot of heart.
They've only kicked 5 points since half-time, Pete.
Unlike them, Bob.
Melbourne have just done as they liked, and well, when I say that, it's taking a little bit away from Melbourne if you say that. Robbie Flower on the bench at the moment. Nothing wrong at all with Flower or Viney. Robbie Flower had kicked 5 goals. Todd Viney 1. Both players taken off purely as a precautionary measure to give Eyeshoal and Richards a run. Good coaching as far as I'm concerned by John Northey. You can find, if you were trying to find some sort of criticism to point at the Melbourne side, I don't know where you could come up with one, Pete.
No, you couldn't criticise any aspect of their game today. They've been disciplined. They've been a great team. Their backline has been absolutely superb. There's Phil Cracker, take it away from half-back. Very skillful player, Phil Cracker. He's even a better player when Jimmy's playing. There's Paul Spargo. A pass to Sean Smith, who's had a rotten day, Sean. He copped a hard knock, but all honours with Sean White. Demetrio, hip and shoulder. Danny Hughes was beautiful football, good team football. Melbourne backing up magnificently. Look at that. Bret Bailey, or no, it wasn't. It was 34. In fact, was Stephen Newport getting it further afield. It's Russell Richards now. Oh, they've got loose men everywhere. Simon Eyeshoal, the 2 interchange players combining. Eyeshoal going for the long kick. Oh, beautiful drop punt too. Now, can someone take a mark? It bounces. It's a chance for Warren Dean. Forced through for a point. And that point is their 20th. 19-20. That's 39 scoring shots to 4-9, which is 13.
Melbourne's long kicking has made a difference, Pete.
Every player in that side has been kicking the ball 60 metres.
They've kicked long and direct to position and caught North Melbourne out of position on many occasions. McDonald goes short to Phil Cracker. Across the ground, Andrew Demetrio. Melbourne still chasing. They don't care about the scoreboard. They want to go right on with this game as we find Eyeshoal coming through. Gets support from Dean Sharon. Punched away by Jackson. Coming through is Crocker. Hand pass straight to Bailey, the opposition. Bailey's hand pass smothered by Crocker. Now we find Yates smothering it, picks it up from centre half forward. Yates goes towards goal, but he's offline. 1 point the result.
Well, the huge crowd here today at the MCG just rose as one there. They want more goals. 19-21 at the 15.5-minute mark of the final quarter. 19-21 plays 4-9. And that, I didn't realise there were so many Melbourne supporters actually in Melbourne. They really have come out in force today for this game.
They'll come out next week.
I reckon they will. It's only natural, though. Ross Smith receives from Chandler. Now, even the bounce isn't going their way now, North Melbourne, as Newport gets it to Healy. Further afield it goes to Simon Eishold, who kicks long to Campbell. He can't take the mark, and it's forced to the line, and in fact, over the line. Well, it'll be hard to fit anyone into this side, but Wilson's got to come back in if he's fit next week. And is O'Dwyer, is he available? I think he might be available.
O'Dwyer is available.
Yeah, so how do they fit them all in? It's going to be a tough decision. Crocker.
It's not a bad problem, though, from a selection point of view.
Yeah,
as the hand pass comes out now to Bret Lovett from 55 metres out. Lovett goes towards goal. Stynes takes it, puts it through. Goal number 20. 20-21, 141, 4-9-33.
Well, that's 2 goals. Look, they're doing it very, very easily. Beautiful long kicking again. Allows Stynes at the back of the back. But look at that. No pressure whatsoever. Poor old John Law had to do the wrestling and bullocking. No one on Stynes to put him under pressure. And North have thrown in the towel.
112 points the margin. An absolute drubbing for the Northerners. Mossop got the tap, not a clear one. Clarkson puts it on. Eishold picks it up from Melbourne, goes straight to Ross Smith of North Melbourne. His kick off the side of the boot. Great effort to punch the ball away by Bret Bailey. What a superb job he's done against Clarkson. Demetrio taps the ball, not Clarkson, against Larkin. Short pass comes to McCann from Spargo. Did say Clarkson, but it was Larkin I was talking about. Bret Bailey has really put one of the stars of the North Melbourne side. And I know one North Melbourne supporter said to me last week that Jimmy Cracker and Matthew Larkin are the keys to North Melbourne. That may well be. Jimmy Cracker not playing today, and Matthew Larkin out of the game as McCann goes forward and is offline.
I think you'd find, if you look through all of North Melbourne's good performances, you'll find that Jimmy Cracker and Larkin, as you said, Bob, are the catalysts that really get North going. And Larkin's been taken right out of the game, and of course Jimmy Cracker hasn't played. And Melbourne have had winners absolutely everywhere, and they're going to be a force for many years, I reckon, with their young players that they've got. There's a hand pass to Newport. Should give it to Williams. Is he going to? No, he elects to kick it himself to Warren Dean over the back. Oh, the kick away comes to Yates. Ricky Jackson with blistering speed. Oh, brilliant play by the little fella. He hooks it back, but he's offline and puts it out of bounds on the full. Gee, he's got some speed, Jackson, Bob.
Yes, certainly has. He's kicked 3 goals. 1 in the second quarter, 1 in the third, 1 in this quarter. Official attendance today, 72,628. Most of them, I think, might be favouring the Demons, and they've been absolutely delighted with a magnificent performance by the Melbourne Football Club to be leading 20 goals, 21, 141 to 410, 34, 107 points the margin. McCann up high, got the tap out. Melbourne still in there with sheer desperation. On hands and knees was Doug Coop, and gained possession of the ball and giving it back.
Well, Doug Coop, there he is on screen. He's been a real wanderer. He's been at 3 league clubs. Is it 3 or 4, Bob?
Well, he was with the Swans and he was with North Melbourne.
Well, he'd be loving this.
I did see in the paper where he was with Richmond, but I don't think he was. You know, I don't know about that, though. But he was certainly at North Melbourne and the Swans. As it's driven forward again, Dean can't quite take it. Darren Steele comes away, puts a long kick back up towards the ground. Oh, Sean Smith was high above the pack, couldn't take it. And we find Eishold on now, taken by Bailey from Coop, across to Williams. Williams a hand pass to Yates, can't quite take it, but still forcing the ball forward. Yates gets the ball out towards Stretch. Stretch hooks it back towards goal, bounces awkwardly off the boot of Donald McDonald, and it's through for 1 point to Melbourne. So they go to 20 goals, 22, 142.
Well, I can't believe I'm looking at that scoreboard, to be quite honest, when we all predicted it to be a close, hard game. Everyone knew Melbourne would play well, but I certainly didn't expect this. Towards half-back, the kick goes to Crocker, and a lot of the North Melbourne players have wondered what's hit them today. Gee, they've played very poor football. Great football by Melbourne. As we see now, Law up towards the half-forward line. Spalding's been like a rocket Gibraltar down there across the half-back line, and so is Sean White. Look at that pass on the left foot. Great ball skills. Eishold crossed the stretch to Dean. This little fella's battled hard. Darren Steele hasn't given up all day. Look at the hand pass across to Warren Dean, who fires at goal. Beautiful hand pass that was from stretch, and Warren Dean has hooked it again. Now, I talked about that hooking the ball. He's kicked 2 goals, 4, and he really has got a problem with a real hook foot.
You couldn't know whether a few of the North players were hook-footers or not, Pete. They
haven't seen it.
Haven't had the opportunity of... There's McDonald. Oh, too slow, but he's got a push in the back. No, he did take too long, and that's just... That sums up the day. Well, that really, as the old saying goes, put the icing on the cake, as we saw Jason Love, was it, Pete? Takes far too long to get rid of the ball.
And I tell you what,
Russell Richards ran him down as John Northey has a close look at the situation.
He'd run down anyone, Russell Richards. He's a very quick player.
Richards goes towards goal, and that's really rubbing salt into the wounds. Flower off the ground after kicking 5. Richards comes on, and now he's kicked a goal.
Well, look at this in replay. Jason Love just far too slow in getting rid of that. I don't know whether he just didn't anticipate that Richards was coming. There's a good camera shot of Russell Richards, a wobbly old drop punt, but it has the desired effect, and a goal to the Rhino, as they call him.
How'd you like to be the comedian at North Melbourne tonight? 34 to 149. 115 points the margin.
Well, I think that, you know, Melbourne will have to be favourites next week against the Swans on this performance, and on the Swans' performance yesterday, and the Swans with injuries. I'll tell you what, they're going to have to be a good side, the Swans, to come back and beat Melbourne next week.
They'll come back.
I know they'll come back. I said that about North Melbourne. I wish I hadn't. I'll tell you what, I've seen North come back time and time
North
again.
Still have not kicked a goal since half-time, and they only kicked 1 goal in the second quarter.
Well, I really believe they've thrown in the towel. I don't care what anyone says. As we see little Ricky Jackson take it away from the centre, a beautiful pass to Tony Campbell, and a diving mark. A very good mark to Tony Campbell. But it's a forward's delight to be on the Melbourne forward line today. The way that ball is coming down there at 100 mile an hour. Look at this. Tony Campbell, outstretched hands, 45-degree angle. He'll take this kick, only 30 metres out. Can they kick another one, the Demons? There's the kick. It's very close, but just offline and through for 1 behind. And he's not happy with himself, Tony Campbell. 21-24 to 4-10, and we're at the almost at the 24-minute mark, final quarter.
I think they've got him, Pete.
You can back North if you like, Bob.
Kick in from full-back. Phil Cracker at the back. The tackle was too high against Darren Crocker, and so Crocker plays on immediately, looking for Phil Cracker. Finds that player out on centre wing. The hand pass comes across to Jason Love. Tackled. Gets the hand pass out to McCann. He's tackled. Loses it. Melbourne still tackling superbly, but a free kick goes the way of North Melbourne, and little Alistair Clarkson will take that kick. 19 years of age from Conniver. Clarkson drives it forward. Spalding was up high, couldn't take it. Stynes gives great support, puts it long in towards the centre. No mark. Richards thumps the ball through, picks it up on the rebound, goes out wide. Not a well-placed kick though, and it's intercepted by Clarkson.
Alistair Clarkson out wide. He's looking out there for Larkin. He finds him too over to Peter German. They've been 2 fairly quiet players, particularly Larkin, who they rely on so much, but Bret Bailey's done a great job on him. Phil Cracker, a wobbly old kick to the goal square, a good mark down there taken by Sean Smith, and the first time for the day I think Sean White's been beaten in a one-on-one contest.
Yes, it's about the only mistake that he has made all day, Sean White. He's been an excellent player. 3 kicks, 2 handballs to Sean Smith. Copped a very heavy knock to go off the ground early in the piece, and he brings up North Melbourne's first goal since half-time.
Well, a very belated goal, that one. The goal kickers for North Melbourne have been 2 to Phil Cracker, 1 to Darren Steele as we look in replay, 1 to Sean Smith and 1 to Mark Hepburn. A very dismal performance on the forward line, and although it hasn't been down there that often, I still think the North Melbourne forwards have been very, very poor. I don't think they've played in front. They've been absolutely thrashed all day by a hard-hitting and close-checking Melbourne defence.
Cannot but agree, Pete. 40 to 150. 110 points, the lead held by Melbourne as Eichel caught one too high. Called play on the advantage. We'll know it'll be brought back. It's on behind play. And young Simon Eichel will be foolish to do anything wrong at this stage. He might have caught one too high, but you wouldn't want to be rubbed out at this stage.
I think Rodney Grinter would be able to tell you how sad this would be looking on.
Eichel with a lovely kick goes long and a great mark to Warren Dean. Well, Melbourne have not had a weakness. On replay, an excellent mark, the only player to touch the ball. Superb judgment on that occasion. And Dean with 14 kicks and 2 handballs, 11 marks at centre half forward. Goes Goalwood. Full points to Warren Dean.
Well, Warren Dean has kicked 3 and he's kicked 4 or 5 behinds, and once again he hooked that one. He only just sneaked it through. You'll see he's got a real hook on most of his kicks. Here's the mark, a top mark in the pack, a ripper mark, a classical Australian rule. What's the way he hooks this even? See the way it's coming back, and it just must have sneaked in by centimetres for a goal, that one.
Looked a point, didn't it?
It did as you looked at it from there, but the goal umpire was there. 22, look at that, 22-24 to 5-10.
27 and a half minutes have gone. Eichel has had a picnic since coming onto the ground. North Melbourne find McDonald with the kick.
I think you'd get a kick out there even, Bob.
I don't think so, mate. Not against Melbourne anyway, the way they're playing. As Bret Lovett does well, traps it beautifully, comes across, thought about the hand pass, bounces his way into the centre, puts it down towards half forward, but his kick's offline, and Jason Love there to take the mark. A wonderful effort by Melbourne as Love puts it out wide to Phil Cracker. Cracker brings the ball back in towards the centre. Eichel punches the ball away. Taken by Clarkson. A long hand pass comes out wide to Crocker. He's kicked towards the half-forward line. Stynes and Mossop. An awkward bounce. Sean Smith comes through. Slips as he was about to kick it. Through comes Sean White. He was held when not in possession. Tapped it onto Sharon. He gave it to Spalding. Height-wise, it comes out now to Warren Dean, and Dean right up the ground, places it beautifully. It's picked up by Williams. He's tackled but gets the hand pass forward to Spalding. The centre half-back might kick a goal. Kicks across the face of goal. Ricky Jackson's there. Over the line it goes. I thought that Spalding might just top his game off there for a moment.
I think everyone did. I think everything's going right for Melbourne. They've played absolutely magnificent football, and that would have topped it off the centre back kicking a goal as we see McCann. It's good bye for the year to North Melbourne. There's a kick from Eichel. Doesn't quite make the distance. Grabbed by McCann. Hooks it back to half-back. Harris can't take it. Oh, gee, Coop is there. He hooks it again in turn, further afield to the pocket. Grabbed by Johnny Law, and he puts it out of bounds on the full. And a free kick will go to Bret Bailey from the 50-metre line. In fact, he'll have to kick from around about 50 metres. A real good team player. He has worn Matthew Larkin like a glove. I'm sure he'll try and short pass this. Now he elects to go for the long kick. He hooks it. He's been watching Warren Dean too much, I think, Bob, as he hooks it through for a point. But it's been a brilliant display, this, and a disciplined display by the Melbourne side. 22-25, Melbourne to North Melbourne.
47-15, the scoring shots, Pete.
North Melbourne on 5-10.
lovely mark again. And what a fantastic game he's played. Earl Spalding wanted to play on, but it's called back by umpire Clayton.
Well, they haven't been in the final since 1964, Bob, and there's no doubt they are going to take a power of beating. It'll take a very good side to beat Melbourne from here on in because they're full of confidence.
They're aggressive. They are kicking long. Their short passing has been spot on. And, well, there's a perfect example. Spalding got the lead from Williams. David Williams has kicked 3 goals, 5 so far, and well, they're approaching the record-winning score, Pete, by Melbourne against North Melbourne.
Yes, they need a goal, I think. They're 5 points away from it, so they actually need a goal to have that record-winning score. And David Williams is on the 50-metre line. If he kicks it, oh, he's hooked it. Now it starts to float back, but there's the siren. There's the siren to end a sensational victory, this by the Melbourne side. They're going to be a real force in this year's finals. Melbourne, as the spectators stand and give them a standing ovation, applauding them. There's Robbie Flower, and Todd Viney was with him. And the final score, 22.